Morning, students. Last class we have started the network layer design issues. In that, we are at implementation of connection-oriented service. In the implementation of connection-oriented service, yes, we have seen this diagram. I asked you about the tables, that is A's table. See the A's table. We are having A's table and C's table and E table. See what are those numbers? I asked you. See, here it is H1, it is host 1. This is the incoming table and this is the outgoing table for the router A. Here H1 is the host 1, H3 is the host 3. These three are sending packets to A. That means for router A, the incoming is from H3 and H1. In textbook, they have given, in all textbooks, they have given this number as 1. Here 1, 2 means 1 is virtual circuit number 1, 2 is virtual circuit number 2. You can correct this one as 2. Okay. Otherwise, what they think of, here the routing is not yet started. The routing is not yet started. H3 is directly connected to, is having a point-to-point connection with A. H1 is point-to-point connection with A. So the routing is not yet started. That is the reason why they have given 1, 1. Just you for your clarification, you can make it 2. For H3, you can make virtual circuit number 2. Then it will be clear for you. Okay. H1, the virtual circuit number is 1. H3, the virtual circuit number is 2. Okay. For outgoing C, A to C. So this is H1 packet. This is H3 packet. Okay. Like that. Okay. Every table, every router is having 2 tables here. Here we are having 2 inputs. That means 2 incoming lines. Those are H1 and H3. That is the reason why 2 columns are here in the table, incoming table and outgoing table. If it is 3 we are having H1, H4 is here. Then we are having H1, H3 and H4, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. This is the implementation of connection oriented service. Here the numbers indicates the virtual circuit numbers. Here the numbers indicates the virtual circuit numbers. Okay. Last topic is in network layer design issues. The last topic is comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnet. Comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnet. I told you datagram subnet refers to connectionless service. Virtual circuit subnet refers to connection oriented service. Here we are having 3 columns. First one issue, second one datagram subnet, and third one is virtual circuit subnet. Let's take first issue as circuit setup. Circuit setup is not needed in datagram subnet. Why? Because all packets, all datagrams may travel in independent routes. Okay. Here there is no circuit. There is no circuit setup is required in datagram subnet. Coming to the virtual circuit subnet, we need to establish a virtual circuit setup. Virtual circuit setup before transmitting the packets. Now second one is addressing. Here in datagram subnet, we need addresses. We are transmitting the packets, right? Every packet contains source address and as well as destination address in its header field. Coming to the virtual circuit, we don't need complete address. Okay. What we need a virtual circuit number. We need a virtual circuit number as I shown you in previous slide 1, 2 like that. Every packet will have a virtual circuit number. Okay. Next, state information. Here, in coming to the state information, packet state information. Here, the routers do not hold any state information about the connections. Okay. That means router is not having any information about the connections. That means source destination connections. Okay. What they will do is simply they can route the next outgoing line. Suppose the pack in datagram subnet, the packet arrives at router A, only it doesn't bother about destination. What it will do is it will send to next destination, next immediate router. That is the responsibility of routers in datagram subnet. Coming to the virtual circuit, each virtual circuit requires router table space per connection. Here, each router knows. Why? Because in the previous slide we have seen, see here, this is the router C. The packet passes from router C. It knows the packet goes to which destination. The packet goes to the router C knows the final destination and as final destination. Why? Because it is having a virtual circuit number. I will tell you a simple way after completion of this one. Next, routing. Here in datagram subnet, each packet will be routed independently. That means the routes are independent. Suppose the packet, one packet may goes to one route, another packet may choose another route like that. Next, coming to the virtual circuit, the route is chosen when the virtual circuit is set up. Okay, that means here it is connection oriented, right? Before transmitting the data, we need to find a route. That is nothing but a virtual circuit. Okay. Once the route is chosen, all packets must pass in that route only. All packets must pass in that route only. Next, effect of router failures. Okay. Here in datagram, there is no effect. Suppose router C fails. In this example, let us see. The router B failed. Here the router B failed in this datagram subnet. Let us assume this is a datagram. The packets which are transmitted in this direction, the effect is on those packets only. The effect is on those packets only. All other packets are traveled without any problem. Without any problem. Next, coming to the virtual circuit subnet, all virtual circuits that passed through the failed router is terminated. If the packets are passed in one direction, one way, if any router fail in that direction, all packets will be terminated. Next, quality of service. Quality of service is difficult. Why? Because we do not guarantee whether the transmitted packet will be reached at particular time, within a time, or we don't have any guarantee. In case of datagram subnet, it is very difficult ask for telling that the guarantee of delivery, the packet will reach destination at particular time like that. So it is difficult with respect to quality of service. Next, in virtual circuit, it is easy enough. Resources can be allocated at once because it is easy. Why? Because all packets are transmitted in the same direction. Okay. Last one, congestion control. I need to tell you what is congestion. Congestion is nothing but a traffic in the network. The traffic in the network is known as congestion. Here, it is difficult to tell. Why? Because the packets in datagram subnet may travel in different routes. So, in one route, 10 packets may be transmitted. In another route, one packet may be transmitted like that. It is very difficult task to tell about the congestion control. Next, in coming to the virtual circuit, there, there is a dedicated path from source to destination. All packets must be transmitted in the same direction, one after another. So it is easy in case of controlling the congestion. Here, these are the issues in case of datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet. Just you can remember, students, virtual circuit is connection oriented service. Datagram is connectionless service. Okay. Okay, this is the summary. As of now, we have discussed the network layer design issues. First one, store and forward packet switching. Services provided to transport layer. Implementation of connectionless and connection oriented service. Now, in today's class, we have completed comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnet. Okay. First topic is completed in unit number 5, that is network layer design issues. Okay, next move on to the next topic, that is routing algorithms. Okay. First, we need to know the description of routing algorithms. These are very, very interesting and easy topics. Coming to the definition, the routing algorithm is the part of the network layer software which is responsible for deciding which output line an incoming packet should be transmitted on. See here in the diagram, this is a packet. See, this is all a subnet or carrier equipment. The blue color one. The blue color one is having, what is this? This is a subnet, or we can call that as a carrier's equipment. Okay, suppose a packet coming from host, the host is connected to this router. Here the routing algorithm is responsible for deciding in which output line. See here, for this router, we are having this output line, and this output line. The routing algorithm responsibility is to decide which output line, in which output line the incoming packet will be transmitted on. See here the blue color line, the packet is coming from this host, and here the routing algorithm comes into picture, and it will decide. It is having 1, 2, and 3 routes. It will decide this route, and every router, at each router, the routing algorithm will decide the incoming packet will be transmitted in which direction. Okay, this is what the routing algorithm meant for. Okay, hope you understand. Next, coming to the properties of routing algorithm, just correctness. That means the transmitted packet will be reach to the destination without any problem. Simplicity and robustness. Robustness means even though we are having problems like congestion, some network failures, it must have robustness and scalability, stability, fairness, and optimality. These are the properties of routing algorithm. Okay. I'm repeating once again, the incoming packet, the router, that is the routing algorithm means the router, it is responsible for routing the packet. It needs to decide in which output line. Here, see, we are having 1, 2, and 3 output lines we are having. This router, this particular router in the carrier's equipment is connected to the host here. The packet arrives, this blue color one is the packet, arrives here. It must decide in which outgoing line the packet needs to be transmitted. It has chosen this. Now the packet arrives here. Now here also it needs to calculate, and for every router we need to have call routing algorithm. Okay, these are the these are not needed. Now coming to the description of routing algorithms. Here we are having 2 types of algorithms. One is non-adaptive algorithm. The second one is adaptive routing algorithms. types of algorithms or categories: non-adaptive and adaptive routing algorithms. Here, non-adaptive algorithms do not base their routing decisions on measurements or estimates of the current traffic and topology. Instead, the choice of route to use to get from I to J is computed in advance. See here, this is non-adaptive routing algorithm. Non-adaptive means first it decides. It is not dynamic. It is also called as static routing. Non-adaptive routing is also called as static routing. It does not base on routing decisions and measurements and estimates of the current traffic and topology. First, it will decide one route. If there is any obstacles on that route must not, the route will not change. Okay. It must decide the route from source to destination well in advance. Okay. See here. Here, this is the routing table of A. The given A to A, there is no line. A to A, there is no line. This is the destinations A to B. A to B, we are having direct connections. A to C, we are having direct connection. A to D, we are having A to D, and in which direction we need to go? A to B and B to D. So the outgoing line will be B. In this case, this route is failure. A to B is fail. Then to reach D, what we need to do? A to C and C to D also there, right? So this is static route. It must decide well in advance. To reach D from A, we must pass through B. Okay. It does not change. It does not change any route. It does not bother about traffic. It doesn't bother about topology. Okay. This procedure is called as static routing algorithm. Okay. We are having algorithms for both static routing and dynamic routing. Okay. This is called as non-adaptive algorithms or static routing algorithms. Coming to the adaptive algorithms. In contrast, adaptive means dynamic routing algorithm here. The change their routing decisions to reflect the changes in the topology and usually the traffic as well. See here, in the previous case, A to A direct line, A to B direct line, A to C direct line, A to D, we must go through B. We need to change the direction by because this route is having the problem. It is having the congestion. It is having the traffic. That is the reason why we have chosen the route to go from A to D. The route will be A to C and C to D instead of A to B and B to D. This is see here, A to D changes from B to C. This is a dynamic, right? The previously we have chosen the static procedure. This procedure is called as dynamic routing procedure. Why? Because we have changed the route. Changing the route will reflects the change in topology. Okay, reflects in change in the topology. Okay, this is called as adaptive routing algorithms or dynamic routing algorithms. Hope you understand, students. Now, coming to the routing algorithms, we have seen two types: adaptive, that means dynamic routing algorithm; non-adaptive, that is static routing algorithm. Here, these are the different type of algorithms. The first one is the principle. The principle is called as an optimality principle. We have hope you all have seen this in data structures. Principle of optimality: shortest pathing routing algorithm, flooding, distance vector routing algorithm, link state routing algorithm, hierarchical routing algorithm, and broadcast routing algorithm. Okay, these are the different adaptive and non-adaptive routing algorithms. Before going to those algorithms, let's go with the principle of optimality or the optimality principle. See here, coming to the optimality principle, here we are having three routers, I, J, and K. See, if the router J is an optimal path, if the router J is an optimal path from I2K. That means I'm saying the source is I, the destination is K, the J is optimal path for I2K. That if J is optimal path for I2K means the transmission, the routing must happen from I2J and J2K. Okay. Then the optimal path from J to K also falls along the same route. Okay. I'm saying once again, if we are having three routers, the router J is optimal path. If the router J is optimal path from I to K, I to router K, then optimal path from J to K is also falls along the same route, right? That means this is also an optimal path. Okay. This is the principle of optimality. I will show you this example. See the optimality principle here. The first point, the set of optimal routes from all sources to a given destination forms a tree rooted at the destination. Such a tree is called as sync tree. Here we are having two diagrams. We are having two diagrams. First, we need to know what is a sync tree. The set of optimal routes from all sources to a given destination. Suppose here we are having these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O are routers. Okay. Suppose let's take H as a destination. H as a destination. Suppose the set of all optimal routes that nothing but A to H, B to H, C to H, all things, all sources from all sources to a given destination will forms a root tree rooted, forms a tree. See here, let us assume H is a destination from all other routes. We need to draw a line that will form a tree that is called as sync tree. That tree is called a sync tree. In the given example, we are having two diagrams. First one is the subnet. First one is the subnet. Subnet is nothing but what is the meaning of subnet? So many times I told you, subnet carrier's equipment is same. See here, I will show you what subnet. This one is called as this particular point, carrier's equipment is called as subnet. What subnet consisting of? What subnet consisting of? Subnet consisting of routers. Okay. The first diagram is a subnet. In a subnet, we might have cycles, circuits. This is a, see here, I to C, C to J, C to J to I. This is a circuit. This is a closed circuit. Okay. In a subnet, we are having circuits. Now, the sync tree, see, from this subnet, we want to draw a sync tree for the router B. And it's simple meaning entante. This is a subnet. This particular one is the sync tree for router B. That means from B, a sync tree for router B means from router B, all other destinations B to A, B to C, B to D, B to E, B to F, all. Suppose B to A, we are having direct line. B to D, we need to go B to A and A to D. B to G, B to A and B, A to D and D to G. Okay, this is the meaning of sync tree for router B, only for router B. In this regard, what we have seen, see in this we don't have any closed circuits. We don't have, a sync tree does not having any closed circuits. Now, a sync tree is not necessarily unique. See, this is not unique. This is the sync tree for router B. Let's if it is router A, it is the different. Okay. A sync tree is not necessarily unique. Other trees with same path lengths may exist. Other tree with the same path lengths may exist. The goal of all routing algorithm is to discover and use the sync trees for all routers. Okay, here what they are saying, the goal of routing algorithms is they must draw sync tree for all routers. Then only we can know the routes. Suppose this is the sync tree for B. So that means from B to all other destinations in the subnet. From B to all other destinations in the subnet, all other routers, we know the routes. Okay. According to the algorithms, routing algorithms, the aim will be like they must see what they are saying here. They discover and use the sync trees for all routers. A, B, C, all routers, they must discover the sync trees. Now, the first routing algorithm is the shortest path routing algorithm. Okay. I will give you a brief and yeah. This is the shortest path routing algorithm example. Here in this, just you can take a screenshot of this picture because we do. First, we need to know which type of this algorithm, whether it is a adaptive routing algorithm, whether it is a non-adaptive routing algorithm. Okay. The main purpose of this shortest path routing algorithm is it is just finding the shortest path between the source and destination, between the source and destination. Here, how can we measure? Here in this example, see, this is the shortest path routing algorithm example. In this, we have given a graph. We have given, this is the graph, right? Here, they don't have, how can we calculate? If they have given weights, if they have given weights, we can calculate the distance between the routers by calculating the weights. If they are not given the weights, how can we calculate? We can calculate by using the number of hops. Okay. This is a non-adaptive routing algorithm. This is a non-adaptive routing algorithm. Nothing but static routing algorithm. The shortest path routing algorithm is a static path routing algorithm. Just take a screenshot of this picture and see once. In tomorrow's class, I will tell you I will explain here in this diagram, in this example. Just I will give you a brief. Source. The source is A. The source is A. The destination is D. Okay. Just I will give you a brief. The source is A. Okay. A is having the adjacent routers. Nodes are in the graph. We are having nodes, right? A is having adjacent B and G. A to B, it is the distance is 2. A to G, the distance is 6. So we'll go from A to B. See here, A to B. Where we are? We are at B. A to B, the distance is 2. Now B to C we are having, B to C we are having 7, and B to E we are having 2. Now in the third step we move to B to E. Okay. In the fourth step, E to G and E to F. E to F is 2. E to G is 1. So now in the fourth step we are here. Now we are having G to H, we are having 4, and G to E and E to F, we are having 3. So we are moving here. Now we are at F. F to H and F to C. F to C we are having 3 and F to H we are having 2. Now we are at H. Okay. So A to H and H to D. The route will be A to B, B to E, B to F, and F to H, and H to D. Just this is the brief I have given for your understanding. In tomorrow's class, I will give you a clear explanation about the shortest path routing algorithm and example. Okay. Thank you, students. One thing, students, this is a very, very important unit with respect to